Hey everybody, it's Taki 117 here, back with Taki Space Program. We are currently sitting on the pad for our OS-03 lunar mission. So here we go, launching in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mission and liftoff. We have cleared the tower. Beginning our roll program. Beautiful evening for a launch. Absolutely wonderful. Beginning our gravity turn here. Now, as you can see, this is our standard lunar capable rocket. I don't really have a name for it. I should probably come up with one of those. Little out of control there, but we have recovered and we're good. Fortunately, this rocket does have a rather large abundance of delta V, so we can afford mistakes like that, at least on a delta V budget. Go ahead. Bit of manual tweaking for our orbit. Beautiful. We are on glide slope. Currently at 15 kilometers in altitude. Approximately 15 kilometers downrange as well. Currently traveling at a little over Mach 3.5, currently Mach 4. We have reached Mach 4. There we go. We are going to ditch that stage. Oh, there it goes. Took it a minute to fall away there. Ignite our second stage. We are hypersonic, traveling faster than Mach 5. Let's go ahead and go orbit prograde there. There we go. There is Venus over there. We actually have a mission planned to go to Venus. Launch window will open here in about 88 days. It is our first interplanetary mission that we will be running in our space program. Right now we're in our coast phase. I am waiting until we get above the atmosphere at 70 kilometers to deploy my fairing so that my payload inside does not affect my flight path. There we go, 70 kilometers. Fairing deployment is good. Also going to go ahead and deploy these solar panels, as well as our, if I can click on it here, as well as our antenna, extending that from 500 meters to, or 500 kilometers rather, to 2 megameters. Now this satellite has a whole bunch of science on it. And part of its mission, in addition to providing much needed communication for the moon, is to complete this equatorial satellite contract, but it's also going to do a lot of science. And I'm going to try to get as much science out of this thing as I possibly can. So we are going to circularize at the next apoapsis. And create and execute that node. I am a little worried about the amount of electric charge on this vehicle. However, I should be good for this burn. And then I will be able to transfer to the moon transfer fairly easily. And we'll kind of just go from there. Second stage reignition. Beautiful star field. Absolutely beautiful view of the Milky Way. So the hardest part of these missions is really just getting the rocket into space. That's really the hardest part of any mission, is just getting into orbit. Because, you know, when you're in orbit, you're halfway to anywhere. Because if you look at a delta V map, which is kind of like a road map of how much delta V it will take you to get from one celestial body to another, and you take and you add all of them up, going from orbit of one to orbit of the other, you will find that it is about half of the total mission delta V. The other half, of course, being orbiting the celestial bodies. So we are going to transfer to target. I don't think I could have timed this mission any better. It was a beautiful early evening launch, so we had plenty of light for you guys to see. And now it's only, a couple of minutes to our transfer burn. Oh, yeah, Mars over there. I need to do a little bit more mission planning before I go to Mars. And then we got Uranus all the way over there, along with Jupiter. So that's kind of why I'm hesitant to go interplanetary, is I don't really know how much delta V it's going to take me, because I'm not playing with the real solar system mod. I'm using the stock sized solar system. So the delta V is going to be a little different. There's Mercury there. So we are generating electric charge, which is good. I don't want to activate this dish just yet. Coming around the night side of Earth. And all those beautiful city lights there. Beautiful, beautiful shot of the Milky Way. There's the moon, our target. Alright, so here we go. We are going to warp time just a little bit. Watch as our batteries deplete, but that's okay because we're not doing anything. And there they go. They are full once more because we have come out of the shadow of the Earth. And our solar panels have realigned. Alright, I'm going to turn that on. And away we go to the moon. It's falling towards the moon. Oops. Went a little too fast there. You'll notice, as I accelerate time, my electric charge drops. The main reason for that is because, as you're time warping, it increases the usage and generation rates accordingly. So, if you're normally only using 3 a minute and you're at 50 times time acceleration, you're now using 150 a minute. So that's why it keeps going down, because I'm not quite generating enough to keep them fully charged all the time. But I do have enough to keep them charged most of the time. There we go, we are 15 hours away from our lunar encounter, rather. And this will go on a very specific orbit. It will be rotating counterclockwise at 0 degrees inclination. So that's going to take some doing. I am, however, going to wait until I am within the sphere of influence of the moon before I start making my course corrections, so that I can see my resultant orbit in real time. I don't have to kind of guess where I'm going to end up. As of right now, I'm actually going to crash into the surface of the moon. But that's okay, because I will, of course, adjust my trajectory when I get there. Here we go, there comes the moon. There's a beautiful shot of the Earth, Jupiter and Uranus. There is the moon, right there. I'm coming out of time warp. I am 15 minutes from my sphere of influence change. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we are captured. Alright, so as you can see, I'm gonna focus my view on the moon here. I am rather far off. So I'm going to take a look at which direction this thing is going. Alright, so I need to be going that way. I'm falling from the top. So I need to point a little negative. Well, let's just do some playing here. That's not going to help. I need that way. So that is normal positive. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm actually freehanding my orbital inclination adjustment. Basically what that means is I'm just kind of winging it. Alright, there we go. Now I want to point radial out. Let's see what that will get me. Why? Okay. There we go. So let's do some radial out. Looks like... oh, that'll do quite nicely. So the reason I'm doing radial out is so that I don't smash into the surface of the moon before I'm ready. I'm actually going to do... there we go. That works. So now let's do some... negative, is that what I need? Yeah, not really. Alright, so what I'm going to do... I'm going to kind of wing this. I don't need that. I'm going to work just a little bit to get that satellite out of the way. Add a maneuver right there. So right now what I'm doing is I'm manually setting up my maneuver node, not only for a capture, but also to get my orbit lined up. Now of course this is going to take quite a bit of delta V, but that's okay because I have, you know, well over 800 meters a second here. That looks pretty good, actually. Let's see, bring that. Oop, a little too far. There. That is beautiful. Okay, we are going to execute that node. Now, I could do this with my satellite. I'm probably going to end up doing it with my satellite. I hate this. So what's happening is MechJeb is trying to warp as fast as it possibly can into this maneuver node. And it's, you know, like I mentioned previously, it's draining and setting up my usage rates, so it's having to come out of warp to account for that. It's just a whole big mess. Alright, here we go, getting ready to perform that maneuver. It's only going to take us 11 seconds. So dropping in. Now, our lander is still on the moon, which is kind of cool, I think. Alright, here we go. I'm just guessing here. There it goes. See our apoapsis coming down, our periapsis also coming down, which is good. Adjusting our orbit absolutely beautifully. I'm off by about a degree, which is fine. Oh, that is beautiful, that is. So now I'm going to manually add a maneuver. Oop. You should be good there. Let's go ahead and execute that node and see what happens. The main reason I'm doing this is because I'm actually running low on funds. I need to complete a couple of these contracts. So here we go, we're dropping in behind the moon. Now I'm starting to get a little worried about my battery. It's actually kind of the other reason that I wanted to... Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Abort, no, and it's dead. Okay. So. The good news is Guess there's not really any good news. Alright, I'm gonna do some stuff here. Let's see if I can... Oop, no, not that way. Just adjust my orbit. That's one of the great things about the moon, is that it doesn't take a whole lot of delta V to change things. I mean, relatively speaking, yes, it takes a lot. But, you know, on the scale of... On the scale of things, it doesn't take a whole lot. Like if I were to try to do this in Earth orbit, it'd be impossible. I'd never be able to pull it off. But because, you know, we're on the moon, we're orbiting the moon, not only is it 400 meters a second, but it's also only a 14-second burn. And this way, when I get to my periapsis, probably even a little before my periapsis, I can circularize my orbit on the day side. So this is an unconventional maneuver, what I'm doing here. I'm not changing orbit direction. I'm still going to be orbiting the same direction. It's just I'm basically performing a 90-degree turn in space. That doesn't happen. You don't do that. Fortunately, this is Kerbal Space Program, and we don't really have to worry about it. NASA normally would not perform a maneuver like this, simply because they wouldn't have the Delta V budget that we have. You know, it's not that they wouldn't be able to, it's that they physically could not do it. Fortunately, Kerbal Space Program is Delta V cheap and time expensive, not time cheap and Delta V expensive. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a maneuver there. You know what? I'm just going to circularize at my periapsis. Execute that node. I'm going to keep an eye on this contract here, so that, you know, as I'm falling, and I am falling in the correct direction, you can see following that line around. So hopefully, when this maneuver completes, it will complete this contract, or, you know, fairly close to it. All these satellites bouncing around in space, and I really can't cover the surface of the moon very well. It doesn't work. There we go, we're coming over the surface of the moon. Whew. That was close. Alright, at one point, orbit prograde. shot it that way too. So, this is why we have a lot of delta V in these rockets. Or at least in this rocket in particular. Because I'm trying to do this manually while watching for a check mark. There we go. That's it. That contract is complete. So, there we are. We are going to run all of the science experiments. Look at all this science we're getting. Well, not everything, but we are getting quite a bit. There we go. I'll watch all of these. Alright, I believe we're done. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. I'm Taki117, and remember, it's only rocket science.